Welcome, everybody, to the Oroville City Council meeting, December 20th, 2016. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Berry?
Here.
Councilmember Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilmember Hatley?
Here.
Councilmember Pittman?
Here.
Councilmember Simpson?
Here.
Vice Mayor Chan Wilcox?
Here.
Mayor Dahlmeyer?
Here. Let's convene to closed session. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We're back from closed session. Direction given, no action taken. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance first, if you wouldn't mind. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You guys have obviously enjoyed one of the presentations this evening, and now as council members, we get to enjoy a little bit too. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you.
So we actually have special, very special presentation this evening. And I don't think these young children even know it yet. So
why don't we have each one of them introduce themselves?
here you go. Tell us a little bit about yourself too and what you do for our community.
So hi, my name is David Chang, and our music group is In Tune Music. And what we do is we go around playing music to the community, and we try to bring joy to wherever we go.
Services in the community?
Yes.
What do you do?
We go around and play music wherever we go and earn some donations, I guess. Yeah.
Do you do anything else other than play music?
No, we just kind of go around and play music. That's about it.
Do you get free drinks in school?
I guess. Yeah.
Do you volunteer in school too?
Occasionally, yeah.
Yeah. Do you help your parents?
Yes.
You're a good boy,
Yeah.
Good. All right, next.
My name is Forrest Wong, and I am 14 years old and go to Oroville High School. So what we basically do is just go around and earn money for local foster children, foster homes. And a little while back, we toured around some middle schools and showed them our music.
Do you volunteer your time other than those?
I
Do you volunteer time in school?
Yes, I do.
Help your mom and dad? Are you a good student?
Yes.
Just thought I wanted to add that to it.
Hi, my name is Drew Snyder. I'm 14 years old and I go to Chico High School. And I'm like the most recent member of this group, but I've been with them for the past couple months, and mainly we've been just playing at Tongfang Lo and some other locations and raising money for the foster kids, as Forrest said.
So do you do any volunteer work at school? Or in your community?
Yeah, I'm a member of the California Scholarship Federation through the school, and we do stuff like that.
And are you a good student?
Yeah.
Do you like your parents?
Yeah.
Just thought I'd put you on the spot. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Thank you for joining the group.
Thank you.
Next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hunter Wong. I am 16 years old, and I am attending Oroville High School. I'm a sophomore this year. And they forgot to mention, but we also played at some elderly homes, and we played some Christmas music and all that stuff for them. It was a nice time.
Do you do any other community service?
Me and my sister, we're both part of the Interact Club, and we go and volunteer at those events.
And Interact is part of?
It's like a national, it's the, yeah, the Rotary Club, yeah.
Do you plan on doing any Rotary exchange at all?
We haven't really thought about it.
You like your parents?
Yeah,
Are you a good student?
yes.
I mean, that's like what I know about all of you guys. Well, thank you for coming this evening, and we do have a special presentation, and Vice Mayor Theo Wilcox is going to take over from here.
Okay, just so that everyone who's attending knows that what under the present presidential, he has a volunteer service award, and these young people have been selected to receive this award. So first, we're going to go with David Chang, and he is in the teen portion of the volunteer group, and he has volunteered 115 hours and is going to receive a plaque.
And this is the plaque.
And he also received a medal that looks like an Olympic medal by the Okay, so there's your plaque and your award. And the next award is going to be for Forrest. Okay.
This award is from the President's Volunteer Award Service, and the President's Volunteer Award Service is presented to Forrest Wong, and it's a gold by the Corporation for National and Community Service in recognition and appreciation for the commitment to strengthen our nation and communities through volunteer service, with a special service committed to education. 2016 award from the National and Community Services.
And her award is for 123 hours of service.
I dropped my microphone. And we have
The award will be for Hunter. I'm sorry, yeah, for Hunter.
And this award says the same thing, and it's awarded to Hunter Wong, and it's a bronze by the Corporation of National and Community Services in recognition and appreciation for their commitment to strengthen our nation and communities through volunteer services, with a special service commitment to education. I will say it's truly an honor to have these young students and residents in our community. They are such outstanding students, and it's a privilege that you got to join this group, and someday you'll be right here with them. So I don't know if you're going to do another song for us, if this is the end.
Oh, yeah.
But how about if you stand right in front of the podium here so people can get a picture of you and you're not hidden behind there. Is that all right? You come right down here. Come on. I knew my daughter should have played the viola.
Very cool.
Awesome. Hopefully this year too.
Is there any additional comments any of you would like to say? All right. Thank you for coming this evening. It was such a wonderful pleasure. Would you like a picture with them? Okay, moving right along. Moving to the consent calendar. Nothing has been asked to be pulled off the consent calendar, so I'm looking for a motion.
I would move we pass the consent calendar as agendized.
Second.
There's a first and second, and voting is open. All votes are in. Voting closed.
This motion has passed.
Public hearings, there are none, so we'll be moving on to regular business. Item number 6, consideration of the Once Dig ordinance to streamline broadband infrastructure improvements. Any questions or comments? Councilmember Pittman?
Yeah, I'm in support of the ordinance, and I think it's a great idea. Although I share some of the letters from the different agencies, concerns about some of the technical issues that are kind of raised by closeness, proximity, and those kind of things. And I'm wondering if there might be time for staff to meet with that group and come up with those, or I don't know if you've received any other communication than what we have in the.
Yes, and several phone calls from the group. We're actually printing out another letter from, it's just arrived, South Feather Water and Power. And I believe they may all have representatives here. Maybe the idea here is to continue this, develop a working group, and whether that's a working group on this issue, and then maybe part of that might be the group moves on to being the subcommittee for the broadband as we move forward in this whole issue. So
I think that would be an excellent idea, because that's kind of the big problem that we have, and I certainly would like to see, especially it's our local utilities that are commenting on it, and it'd be great to work it all out. Unless other council member have comments, that's my comments.
Yeah, Councilmember Hatley and then myself.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Councilmember Hatley and then.
Thank you, I didn't,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Well, I have that same comment. I think that I think everybody should be at the table has a dog in this fight. It's a good idea. Don't get me wrong here. I think it's a good idea to do it, but we have to do it so that it accommodates everyone and makes it so that this can go through in a smooth, efficient way. And every time we seem to get into a rush, we end up having to come back and redo some things. So to me, I think it would be great if we could table this and then get with all the other people who have interest in this, that the other districts and that kind of thing, and the utilities, and sit down and work out an agreement. Because I don't know what can go in the same ditch with water or electricity. I don't know that, but they do. So, and so if everybody gets together, I just think it'd work out better for everyone if we did that.
So we will certainly invite everybody, all the water agencies that have done that, and any other utilities that are interested, and also then invite Comcast and the other telecommunications, just so that we can all have a meeting. We'll send out a press release and contact each one of them so that we can bring a group together.
Okay. And a final comment from me is actually I'm still in communications with Walmart and have found out some additional information. And have seen some additional emails and pictures about what was actually put in. So that knowing that one hand sometimes doesn't know what the other hand is doing. So it is. I want the right bill to be done, or the right ordinance, and because it's all for the right reason. So that's a great idea.
Madam Mayor, we may invite anybody, any of the agencies that are up, if they want to make a comment. I would think that would just be, if they're here and they want to make a comment, that we should do that.
Yeah, if anybody would like to make a comment after Councilmember Berry makes his, but I think it might be going in the same direction that everybody had hoped for. So if that's okay with you, it'll shorten the evening. If we don't take a lot of comment tonight, but if you do want to say something. Councilmember Berry?
Do we have a timetable
We will.
where we can, foresee some action in the near future?
Again, I think it's going to depend on the working group on how we want to move forward, but I would think that we could bring this back. If we get the meeting set up, we could bring this back no later than the end of March. I mean, it just, again, and the reason why I'm saying that, I want to give myself a little bit of room to make sure that we bring this back, at some point in time. It's a matter of coordinating, utilities and making sure everybody, and right now it's the holidays, I wouldn't want to dictate that I could have this done in 2 weeks, because I just don't think I'd pull that off.
Okay, 3 months seems like more than a generous timetable. I myself would like to see it done within 3 months.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
So, my hope is that anything that comes forward now to the city, that it just is common sense that we say we need some additional conduit in there.
Again, I'm looking at Mr. Ritchie over there, and again, the only thing that we'll have to do is we'll notice this for a second reading. It's the second reading right now, so we'll notice this as a second reading as we come forward. Remind everybody when the first reading took place, which was last month, or last meeting, December 6th. So that's all we will do, and just bring it forward.
I'm sorry, this does not seem to fall under public hearing. Public hearing said 1?
It was the public hearing last time, and this is just a second reading. This is the second reading, which is usually on consent, but because we received some letters, that's
Okay.
why it's in regular
Okay.
business.
Okay, so is this continued then?
It is continued.
Okay. Thank you. Item number 7, outstanding payment of,
Want to have any comments from any of the,
anybody wish to make a comment on item number 6, or do you agree to continue it and have a meeting? Perfect,
Thank
perfect.
you.
Item number 7, outstanding payment of city share for the East Trunk Line Capacity Expansion Project. Is any questions or comments on item number 7?
Madam Mayor, I'd just like to make a comment. You have a revised staff report. Again, I was trying to move a little quick on this, and I think the agency, Thermalito Water and Sewer District, had provided an update to that, so that we are obligated to pay 75% of the cost. Those costs are $55,606.20. Originally, I had put in a different number. Again, maybe I moved this a little too quick because they came back with their final numbers. The number is, our portion of that, our 75%, is $41,704.65. That's our obligation. That's what it is. Apologize for the wrong numbers in the original staff report, but you do have a revised staff report.
Councilmember Pittman?
Yeah, I support this agreement. It was kind of interesting. I looked back and we actually agreed for this back in 2010. So it's another example of how you, in this particular community, you know, it's just not the city. It's other partners that we have, and Thermalito Sewer and Water is a great partner on this issue, providing service to our citizens. So with that, I'd motion to move it unless there's other discussion.
No. There's a first, looking for a
First.
second. All votes are in. Voting closed.
This motion has passed.
Item number 8. Memorandum of Understanding to form the Wyandotte Sub-Basin Groundwater Sustainability Partners. Looking for any comments or questions on item number 8. This is a requirement for our community. Requirement brought down from the state, so we've been involved in it. It's just a formality.
I think it's a formality, but it's also our protection to have local control over our water issues.
Absolutely.
And if we don't do this, then the state will consume us. And so I support the item and move the item as
Right.
agendized.
First
I'll
and-
second that.
First and second, voting's open. All votes are in. Does anybody wish to change your vote? Voting closed.
This motion has passed.
Item number 9 and item number 10 will be pulled this evening and brought back at a future date.
Okay.
Moving on to item number 11, Administrative Assistant position for the Business Assistant and Housing Development Department. Amy Birdstrom, or is there any questions or comments on item number 11? Mr. Hatley?
Thank you. Now, this just, because I know a lot of people in the audience don't get the full staff report and everything. This does not come out of the general fund. This is not general fund impact. So, now it is grant covered, and I just want to make sure what happens if some reason the grant went away or the grants, I know there's several here that are listed.
Right.
If that happens, then does it impact our general fund? Do we pick that employee up, or is it, we can go either way with it? I'm just
Right.
curious.
That would be determined at the time if the city council would like to pick up that employee, or we would lay that person off until grant funding was available.
Okay.
However, with the CDBG program income, we have a lot coming in a lot of the time to be used for general admin. So
I understand. I've worked
Yes.
with you a long time, and I understand that, but this is so the public understands what we're doing here and what can happen. I don't foresee it, and it's not happened in the past, but that doesn't mean tomorrow is a different day. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood that that was not a general fund impact. Strictly, it's covered by your division.
Right, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Hadley, and council members, just to reiterate, again, I think it's the city council's policy, if a grant goes away, the
Yes.
employee would go away.
Yes.
So, again, I believe there's plenty of funding here for several years, but if
And the employee is aware of that possibility,
Thank you.
would be aware, yes.
Councilmember Barry?
Isn't it true that some of the program income funds from CDBG funds and the home program and home program can be used for other projects?
All of the funds can be used for other projects, but there is a 17% of any incoming program income is set aside for general administration, and it's different with each grant, the amount that's set aside. And currently, the amount in CDBG alone that we have set aside is $646,000 for general admin only.
Okay, thank you.
And frankly, from my understanding, you've been short almost 2 positions for quite a while,
Yes.
so.
I'd
Okay,
I'd like to add too, in your department, or that department you're in, there was quite a number of other positions that had to be eliminated by the state's canceling of programs in the past. I'm thinking 4, or,
We had 9, we're down to 4, and that is a lot of just some of the things that happened in, 14, 15, retiring, different things that we never filled.
so I want to make the example that your department had 9 staff people doing excellent work, and now we're down to 4. And a good reason for that is the grant process has been short from our
And the
fellow fathers
redevelopment
in
agency.
Sacramento, yeah. So, thank you, appreciate that.
Will you open this job out to the public?
We're gonna do an in-house recruitment.
I see.
so looking for a motion on item number 11.
I move that we approve item number 11 as agenda-sized.
Second.
All votes are in. Voting closed.
This motion has passed.
Item number 12, professional service agreement with the Northwest Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Any questions or comments? David Pittman.
I have a question of our city poundmaster.
Yes, sir. Present.
Are you comfortable with the fact that they're reducing the cost of service and still maintaining the same service at a lower cost?
Absolutely. The cost last year was generated off of the county annexation report that was delivered to the city stating that the intake of animals was much greater than what it actually was for that area.
Okay.
There was a reporting error on the animal control from the county. They reported every animal that was associated with the 95966 or 65 area code was an Oroville animal, but that is not South Oroville. So the SPCA agreed to do a test. They did it last year. They gathered the numbers, and they came up with a real number. And so they've actually reduced the cost of their contract from the 327 down to the 292.
All right.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Very good.
It's good work.
Any other questions, comments, or a motion on item number 12?
Move to approve.
Second.
Voting's open. All votes are in. Does anybody wish to change your vote? Voting closed.
This motion has passed.
Moving on to item number 13, authorized to release requests for proposals for fire protection services and police services for the city of Oroville. Any questions or comments from the dais? We do have a speaker on this, Linda Draper.
I figured there would be more people up here in line and I would be last, so I just have a few things that I thought I'd share with you. First of all, I'd encourage the council to postpone this request for proposals for police and fire services. I know the OPD has offered to cut their pay and benefits by 5.6%, and maybe if you can go back to the table, some other changes could be made so that it would be agreeable to the city and to them. I really have concerns about the quality of service in our town if we lose our current police and firemen. They're well qualified, they know our community well. Many of them are lifelong residents, so these aren't just workers, these are our friends, our family, and people that we know well. And they have a vested interest in our community because of that. So I would just like to encourage the council to continue to negotiate with police and fire departments in good faith, which is really in the best interests of Oroville. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, or a motion on item number 13, please? Anybody else from the public wishes to speak? Looking for a motion.
Move we release the RFPs for police services and fire protection services for the city of Oroville.
I will second that.
First and second, voting's open.
I'm going to make a comment since I won't be here next month. I think it's right to go with the RFP just to look at it. But I tell you right now, I will be in the audience if they ever decide to sign with CDF for fire service or Butte County Sheriff's Department. I will be in the audience fighting it as well as anybody else. But I think the RFP is a good idea at the present time. It might help the negotiations. I hope it does. We want to keep you guys. We want to keep all the firemen and police. But we got to get to the table.
All votes are in. Does anybody wish to change your vote? Voting closed.
This motion has passed.
Council or committee reports, a verbal report may be given. Anybody? I have one. I went to the BCRP, which is another acronym from the BCAG, which is Butte County Association of Governments. It's a long-awaited draft. I don't know, this one's over 439 pages long. So, but it is making some interesting progress. So, that's good. That's good. There was a lot of controversy about it for a long time. My impression was that Oroville was and still has some issues, that some of the defined areas could be in your backyard that could be used for mitigation. Backyard meaning, you know, right down your backyard, you know, or out the back. But it is refining enough to where I feel a little bit more comfortable about that. We do live in an area of the county that has a lot of vernal pools, a lot of oak trees, and we have some pretty stringent requirements on the oak trees. I think it's some of the most stringent in the United States, let alone California. But with that said, this in place might actually be helpful. So that's what I did. Councilmember Hadley.
Thank you. On Saturday, Councilmember Berry and I attended the funeral for Stu Shaner, and I just want to say that the community lost a great person with his passing. Heaven is definitely a better place with Stu there, but as long as I let him be high, he'll be happy up there as long as he can get to climb something. So I just wanted to say that because, you know, I've known Stu a long, long time, and he was truly dedicated to the Veterans Memorial, and he was just a very nice man. I never really heard Stu say anything bad about anybody. He would always find something good to say about you, even me, and I told him, I said, well, I don't know how you did that, but again, I just think I'd like just for everybody to realize what we've really lost here with Stu's passing.
And I'd like to make a comment. You know, I couldn't attend the service on Saturday, but I did attend the memorial at the cemetery. And again, it was well attended, and no one had, of course, had anything bad to say about Stu, just like he didn't have anything bad to say about anyone. We're going to miss him.
There was actually also a really nice gathering Saturday morning at 9 o'clock at the Mike-ish parking lot with a lot of the local pastors and people that said prayers for our officers and our firefighters. It was well attended, and it was really nice to see all the people there. So that was really nice, and thanks. We actually have a really great community that comes out and supports everybody and their needs. That's one thing that's nice to say about the community that we live in. So, all right, we do have anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to mention it's an ongoing project, the Rabe Road shooting range and the improvements potential there. We've got and Joe Ryan's been a huge leader, and I'm helping him here and there once in a while with things, but there's a very strong interest from the county schools principals association to have a presentation to talk about having a safety range for trap and skeet hunting or trap and skeet shooting for high school teams. Huge interest for it, and they've never had a facility to use it for, and so there's a strong interest in that for the potential of the Rabe Road shooting range. So we're having a meeting next week with the county school officials because they like the idea, so it could be a nice facility addition to the Oroville area. So look forward to hear news about that. Just come up to the podium. Wait.
So Dennis, since you are on a non-agenda, which is a segue of what he's speaking about, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, what we're proposing,
Speak in the microphone, make sure
what
it's
we're
on.
proposing is to bring back quarter-mile racetrack racing like we used to have at the Oroville Airport, and it will be in conjunction with what Dave's saying. We met with Joe Ryan out there, many weeks ago. We come up with a great idea. The apprenticeship programs. Butte College operating engineers could go out there, move a lot of that dirt, and the cost will go way down, and you'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone on that issue because you'll teach kids how to work, and we feel that that's the best place to put it. The airport would be great if we could do it there, but down in that clay pit, enclosed in a hollow, all the noise will be reduced. And it's a state park. They'll make some money on it. The city will make some money on it. You'll get the kids off the street. When they wreck, they do damage. This would really bring a lot of people to this area. These top field drags in Sonoma, they're huge. And just imagine how this would be during the Feather Fiesta Day week to be able to go out and see those top field drags. So we give you a letter of request tonight. And we can't stop. We got to do this. And we're going to do everything we can, and we'd like city support. Don Rust and your staff met with us, just a bunch of old retired construction people, You got wonderful people here. They really, really help. But thank you, and give us time to read that, and we'll keep doing it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. Have you talked with property owners out there? Are there any houses in the
There
area?
is very few homes there. We looked at another area over by, off of 20th Street by the Forebay, or the Forebay where they do boat racing occasionally.
Yeah,
I can't go out there. There's too many homes.
yeah.
And there's only maybe 1 or 2 homes in that area. And then in conjunction with the guns going off,
Yeah.
the guns are going to be louder than the cars.
I understand, having lived in the area of the racetrack in Chico, there's a lot of
See,
noise.
the difference between quarter mile and around racetrack is they're going a lot. So you're only going to have a few of them run
I see.
real fast. Then the main thing is we're going to have a lot of help to organize this.
Okay.
And
I
we're-
still think we need to talk to the people who live out there.
Oh, yeah, we would.
And, okay.
You're definitely going to have to do that. Another good idea would be this lineman college. These kids really do great things. They really helped out along the river at the Riffles during the Oroville Economic Alliance. Them guys really do some good community action. They can help. This is a big event. You're going to have a lot of people to organize. It'll take some time, but it sure would be worth pursuing.
It sounds interesting. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Hey, I really want to thank all you guys on this council. This town is in a rebuild mode. It's really, really moving forward. It sat dormant for a long time, and the crash hit real hard, but look at the good stuff that's coming. I'm really proud of you people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Barbara Fowler? I'll get back to the administration reports. This is a non-agenda item. If anybody wants to speak on a non-agenda item, please fill out a blue slip and come forward. Hello, Barbara.
Hi, thank you. I have a question about the progress on the roundabout over on Table Mountain Boulevard. Doesn't seem like things are progressing, and there is a businessman that's on that, just close by to where the roundabout is in front of the church, who is in dire straits right now. He has lost a tremendous amount of business because, of course, nobody is coming down. You know, the table, they circle around, you know, at the intersection and detour. And is there a new time frame? And who answers for that?
You know, you're bringing up a really good point, because there is a detour, and you're right, and people aren't supposedly not allowed to go that far. We need to have some open business signs put out, and I believe the city or the contractor should be responsible for that.
But I think that they're not going to go down to his business, because they're going to head off at the intersection of Table Mountain and Grand. They have to go around that way. There is no way. My church is out there, and I know, you know, how it is and what the ingress and egress is like out there, and it's very, very poor.
That's something Mr. Russ can look into.
I actually can give an answer, but I think Mr. Berry has a comment.
I've noticed also that the barricades vary. Sometimes they're put back quite a ways, stopping people from even maneuvering into the business there. And they need to be moved back so that they can at least complete a left turn there legally to do that.
The reason why you see a lot of the signs, it isn't the contractor, there are literally community people moving those signs. So the contractor is required on a daily basis to go out there and put the signs where they're supposed to be. And people still daily drag them out or take the signs or stuff like that. So I understand the point, and our contractor is working with them to make sure the signs are where they're supposed to be, not drug out, and again, they bring them back. And then the point I think the young lady is making at the podium is that we need to get, and we talked to the contractor this week about that, is that Table Mountain needs to have through traffic Probably won't happen until after the first of the year just because of the holidays, but we need to have Table Mountain North and Southbound open up. So we're working on trying to get that done. I met with Allied Food and Gas. I'm not sure if that's the business that you're talking about, but they came in and talked to me about that. So again, trying to get this opened back up the way it was put out there needs, again, it needs to be opened up, and that's what I can, and that's what we're trying to do.
So there is a time.
Well, the rain
yes.
had stalled quite a bit.
Right, but even before that, they had pretty much stopped, you know, and
Right.
as I said, I'm in and out of there once a week at least, so I've, you know.
I'd like to give a date, but if I said,
Right.
let's say January 6th, then it doesn't happen,
Right.
right? And again, as the mayor has mentioned, the rain has really, this year's the second wettest year in Oroville on record. So again, it would have been great last year to do this, so.
Looks like it's.
I would like to see something done for the business because I think that's really, this has drug on. It wasn't supposed to be done all
Not
at
at all,
once.
right.
They did it all at once, which is a hardship for a business, and that was never going to be the intent.
Yep.
So I would like that looked into sooner rather than later. That
Is it Allied Gas that you're talking about, or is
I'm not sure, is that
Alliance, I'm sorry, Alliance Food and Gas.
Yeah.
And I have a meeting with them scheduled I've already met with them, but I have a meeting scheduled with them tomorrow.
Okay, good.
This is a viable business that we're in the process of losing. I've talked to him, and he's in dire straits. And I would encourage everyone to go shop there. I intend to buy as many groceries as I can or need there. He doesn't carry everything I use, but if all of us shop there, it would certainly help him out. I don't want to lose that business.
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
Thank you. And what was the name of the business again?
Alliance.
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 Lots of Java, all of them down that street. Opera said they're 30% down right now.
Okay, administration reports.
Madam Mayor, I'd just like to make one thing clear about the SPCA contract that you've already approved. And now it's approved, I'll tell you the rest of the story. I'm just teasing. The one thing that I did talk to Director Green about was she just wanted to make it clear that each month when the bill is paid, it's paid at the beginning of the month for the services that will be rendered. It's not paid in the arrear. So after the services have been rendered. So she just wanted to make sure there was some clarity to that. There's been some confusion in the past, so she just wanted to make sure that that was clear. The second item I'd like to inform the council of is this, over the last week, we were awarded $20,000 in grant funding from the Homeland Security Grant. We're going to be utilizing that at the public safety facility to upgrade our safety infrastructure around the building, such as fences, security cameras, and things like that. That will cost zero general fund dollars and will allow us to complete our fencing project and our security camera project. And the last thing I'd like to do is wish you a Merry Christmas and everyone in the audience a Merry Christmas, because I probably won't see you till after the first of the year, and a Happy New Year as well.
Ruth? Just say Merry Christmas then. Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Is that all you have to say tonight?
I wouldn't even have said that.
Oh, I am so impressed.
That's your gift.
Wow.
Mayor,
Mayor?
excuse me, is there something we can do? I've asked a couple times and I've gotten a response. This thing up here hums and blows hot air down in this area right here, but it's humming so loud that sometimes when the speaker's out here, it's hard to kind of hear what the people are saying, because it's right here and it's directed straight down at me. So I don't know if we can put something up there to kind of deflect it or something, but
You know, I noticed it's actually louder than it used to be, and I wonder if it needs to be cleaned, the fan.
Either cleaned or a new light bulb or something like that. We'll have somebody come and try to service it and see if we can't.
That too.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
The
sir.
one thing, I did hand out a memo from North Star. I'd like to talk about that on January, or the 17th, unless you guys are okay. Again, what it is, we took a direction here regarding the sewer system that is put out at the Table Mountain roundabout. There's a 45-degree in there. Actually, that might be best left alone as we get ready to replace the new sewer. This is a new alignment, and if we do put those two new manhole structures in, we are going to have to break into them, bust them up, and replace them. So again, we had a conversation with the consultant, the engineer. He had provided some information to us. I think, again, this is the design engineer that's given us this memo that is saying, don't do anything. Their recommendation is not to do anything because you're going to be spending money twice. So I'd rather, I'd like to not spend money twice. And if you'd like me to bring that back in a staff report, I will.
Why was there two 45-degree angles put into a sewer to begin with?
Again, it was for temporary. Ultimately, you have a $500,000 contract out with Corella to do the design to extend that line north and south. So the line is temporary. We will have to do some maintenance there because it's a 45-degree. It's got some ripples or lines in it that will cause things to hang up in there. So we will do. But again, the real question is, if we're going to do this in a short term, 2-3 years, it would be cheaper to do it in the 3 years than it would be to do it right now, because we're going to have to spend money to put in the two new manholes that are going to be basically 10 feet apart. So we're going to have 4 manholes in this. I believe it is in our best interest not to spend that money now. But again, the direct.
Paving? Even after paving's done?
Yes, even after paving's done. Yes. So if you want a staff report, I can bring that back. Sorry for this. Sorry for the confusion.
Councilmember Hatley, do you have any comment on that?
Well, I did when I saw this, because that was a concern that I had at the last meeting.
Right.
As far as 245s and a sewer line, it didn't make any sense to me. The paving in there, to be real honest with you, when I read this and then I came in and talked to Mr. Rust about it today, I was not in a very good mood. I was not happy about this because the engineer that we're paying a lot of money to stood here and knew that was what it would going to cost more money if we did that, and never said a word. So we vote on it, and then we think we've got it fixed, and then we come back 2 weeks later and it's not fixed, and now we've got to change our mind and do something different. And that irritates me. I'm going to be real honest with people. That frosts me to no end. Tell me, but if you know something's wrong, don't stand there and let us make a decision when you know that you're going to have to come back and say, well, if you do it, it's going to cost you twice as much money. Well, that's just ridiculous. Why didn't you say that right up front? And that kind of stuff bothers me a lot. And I would like to see the difference in cost right now, because if we've got to tear up brand new road and all of that, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I hate it when we put in something,
Right.
They pave it and put in everything real nice, and then 2 days later, we're out there digging in it. And now we've got bumps and dips and all kinds of mess with it. And it tends to make the efficiency of that roadway and its longevity, I think, less. And I would just like to see the cost difference as to what, which is the best way to go on it. And that's just my opinion only. But again, I want to be told up front instead of,
Right, down the road.
after the fact, and now we're back here having to change something. So that's my only comment on that. I would hope that we could come back and give me some numbers and say, well, it will cost you twice as much. And again, I think that should have been right up front with us, right off the get-go.
My issue is that we've been talking for weeks about the integrity of roads and aprons and driveways and stuff, especially when it comes to digging once or digging twice. And actually, we have something on the agenda earlier about that, that if we're gonna do it once and get it over with, and do it right the first time. And so why are we as a city accepting something that's second best?
So what should have happened is we probably should have put the whole,
No, you don't yell from the back. You have to get a tag, and you get. Okay, Dennis.
Mr. Moore.
No.
Mr. Moreland, you have to come to the podium and speak, and you actually have to fill out a blue card if you want to speak on this. What we should have done is we should have laid the sewer line completely first before we did the roundabout project is what we should have done.
And whose design flaw is that? City or contractor?
I would say it would be the cities. It would be the city engineer, person who's no longer with us.
Okay.
That should have been a decision that should have been made then.
Okay.
Okay, and again, though we are down the road, we have already issued the direction to put the 2 manhole structures in. We can do that, and the operator can do that. It's still gonna be a little bit more than the $12,400 that we talked about, because we are pulling out a part of the splitter island that's in there. The idea with the infrastructure in is gonna make it safer and easier to dig, but it can be done either way. I will bring the cost back so you guys know what the difference is. I think it's important information for you.
I would like to know what the cost is to have a proper sewer line put in at this point and be done with it.
The sewer line is really, again, the whole reason for the 45s, and they're called sweeps, it's a 45-degree angle, was for a temporary fix. That's what it was all about, is a temporary, because we were going to realign this whole thing, had straight through 2 different manholes. So, and these 2 manholes that we're putting in are basically gonna be broken in half or re-poured when we do the new sewer line project. So, I'll bring those costs back to you.
Okay. And this was under what? Dennis Moreland, come on up.
It was under non-agenda or council or administrator report.
I want to address the council. I spent my whole life building roads, and these manholes, normally when you pave, they pave over. And then they dig them out, and then they raise them. Is your existing pipeline already in the ground?
It's your time to talk, so go
Yeah.
ahead.
So if your existing pipeline is already in the underground, the manhole is there. It is the contractor's responsibility to raise those manholes. You just can't pave over them and leave them. You have to be able to access them.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to figure out,
It's a question of the sewer line, it's not the manhole.
it's not the manhole, but is the sewer line already there before they pave?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay, we have correspondence, which is attached. Non-agenda items we've already done. Closed session is over. So, this is the end of the last meeting in 2016. So, this is the last meeting for Councilmember Simpson, Vice Mayor Phil Wilcox, and no, you may not, and Councilmember Pittman. It has been a pleasure to serve with all of you for the past 6 years. They will be here on January 4th and January 3rd, January 3rd at, it says 7 p.m., but it's actually 8.
Closed session will begin at 7. Open session will begin at 8.
So the open session is 8 o'clock. It really is a formality, but because it starts, because it's stated in the charter that the first meeting of an election year starts at 8 o'clock, it will be short. We'll have some celebration for the outgoing and celebration for the incoming. Invite all your friends and family. And then we'll take you into the black hole known as closed session. And it's just a jaw-dropping experience. That's all I can say. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for your service, and Merry Christmas.